Well, good morning. This is not Copenhagen. This is Billund. We're in Billund because we missed our flight. So for only double the price of our round trip tickets, they gave us tickets to Billund, which is where we are. Turns out Billund, as everybody knows, is the place where Legos were invented. So we're gonna go see some Lego stuff before making our way over to Copenhagen. Okay. And this is Lego House, an entire museum dedicated to those little bricks you don't want to step on. The lobby offers just a mild hint of some of the wild Lego creations that we're going to be seeing here pretty soon. Now, first I'd like to draw your attention to this duck, situated low on the tree near the roots. These incredible dinosaurs are made by AFOLs, or adult fans of Lego. It occurred to us that being two adults, unaccompanied by any children, in Lego House, they must have assumed that we ourselves were AFOLs. This was a particularly fun part of the interactive experience. You start here making characters, and then you come over and make your very own stop-motion Lego movie, which you then get to download and enjoy forever. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you all the way down these colorful stairs. You get down to the basement and the museum, where you get to learn all about the history of Legos. The company started out making wooden toys, like this duck you may remember from the tree. Here's an early Lego set. Note that the blocks are completely hollow. Those central tubes, a critical innovation, were invented later. And so we began our long trip by bus and train across Denmark and over to Copenhagen, where we had intended to go in the first place. The 7-Eleven man sells hot drinks on the train, which is cool until you're stuck behind him trying to get down the aisle. The train station and the city were in full festive swing when we arrived. The station is located conveniently in the middle of town, so we set off on foot to our hotel. We're staying in a place called the Dan Hostel, an enormous skyscraper hostel. Now, unfortunately, I really can't recommend it. Our second night, the owner threw an all-night dance party that made sleep impossible throughout literally half the floors. Anyway, we didn't come to Copenhagen to sleep. We came for the Christmas markets. And boy, did Copenhagen deliver. Yep. Mulled wine, available everywhere, becomes a staple of staying warm.
That's good.
You can also fight the cold with comfort foods like this swirly potato, Or delicious sausages like this one with pickles and onions and all sorts of good stuff.
That's good.
An unexpected perk was this Tintin-themed comic book shop where I got to add to my growing collection.
What'd you get?
Tintin and the Blue Lotus. Danish. Another little holiday season perk is, of course, that it gets dark in the early afternoon at this latitude.
And it's only 6 o'clock.
That's hilarious. This little hut is selling chocolate molded and decorated to look realistically like various brown-colored things. Like these wrenches that look just like they've been sitting out in the backyard for a couple years. This happened to be the historic evening where Morocco beat Portugal, advancing to the semi-finals of the World Cup, the first African nation to ever do so. And boy, you have never seen so many Morocco fans in all your life. As often, the next day begins with coffee and croissants, followed by a little walk across town, and then, when an opportunity like this arises, maybe another cup of extra fancy coffee.
All right, thank you. Have a nice day. You too.
Thank you. Okay. That's good. The day's first destination was the Natural History Museum and the Palm Houses, located in this lovely little park. Jamie, as we've seen, is a fan of botanical collections. This pond in the park was frozen, which for a couple of us Californians is quite the novelty, so we had a little bit of fun with that. So when we entered the Palm House, we went from this freezing cold outside to this hot, muggy inside.
Yes, it's fogged.
With entirely predictable results. That still managed to befuddle me.
My camera's cold.
Completely fogged glasses.
Not to worry, viewers, we quickly recovered and got back to enjoying all of the tropical plants in frozen Denmark. Particularly captivating were the carnivorous plants and the cactuses. The cactus room featured butterflies. The only one we saw was this delicate little glassy fella. See, who doesn't like playing with ice?
Oh, good stuff.
Big old meteor outside the Natural History Museum and hominids and the Pleistocene inside.
120,000-year-old spear.
We think of the Pleistocene and we think of megafauna, like this giant carnivore with those big teeth roaming around, killing everything in sight, and gnomes? Yes, friends, we're in Denmark.
Yeah.
For lunch, we wanted to try smorrebrod, the characteristic open-faced Danish sandwiches. And as it happened, we lucked upon this place, Omans, which, while it was takeaway only, is possibly one of the best places you can get these little delights.
So that's the herring, egg and tomato. That must be the chicken salad. That must be your Christmas cheese.
Beef tartare.
And then the pork.
Okay, which one are you gonna start off with?
This is gonna be messy. All right, this is curry herring. Is it pickled curry herring?
Something like that.
Something like that. That's really good.
Is it spicy? What's the curry like?
It's creamy. It's like curry with in a mayonnaise sauce.
The National Gallery featured an especially cool exhibit centered around Matisse's painting The Red Studio, including several of Matisse's other paintings that were hanging in the Red Studio when he painted it. Most of the museum is bright and airy. Features an awful lot of modern and contemporary art of the sort that Jamie can find a little bit, say, inaccessible. Here's a nice painting of a cat. As evening turned to night, we headed over to Tivoli Gardens. The park opened in 1843 and is one of the oldest amusement parks in Europe. It's also one of the most popular and most well-attended. We weren't really going there for the rides, we didn't go on any or play any games. We were in it for the festivities and the world-class Christmas market.